I started doing a new service and I wanted to have a specific calendar just for people who are purchasing that one service.
You could be the best coach in the world, but starting a business is a completely different skill.
But I knew that I wanted to give myself a chance, and I knew that I felt like what I was doing was important.
It's my favorite thing ever. So I feel like I never work a day in my life.
Hey everyone, welcome back to How I Work. So here's the deal with this show. If you run your own business or keep a lot of plates spinning, you know the chaos. You're booking clients, you're sending invoices, you're hoping you get paid on time, you're answering emails, you're doing the work. And somewhere in there, you're trying to figure out if you're doing any of it right. You wear a lot of hats, so to speak. Some fit great, some you grabbed in a panic and never took off. Well, this show is for you. Every episode, we sit down with a business baddie who's actually built something and ask one question. How do you actually work? We get the real version though, the tools, the boundaries, the lessons learned along the way. And because we respect your time, we're keeping it to 30 minutes or less. Okay, well, we'll try anyway because we do love to talk. And with that, I am excited to introduce our guest for this episode. Jayde Powell is a creatorpreneur and social media strategist from Atlanta, Georgia. She's the founder of the M-Co, a social-first creative agency that's worked with Netflix, LinkedIn, Coca-Cola, and Timberland, to name just a few. She's also the host of Creator Tea Talk, a community all about creators, content, and culture. You might know her from LinkedIn, which she's famously rebranded as the Briefcase app. Jayde is also a champion of Black, Brown, and queer creatives and one of the sharpest voices in the creator economy today. We're so glad she's here. Jayde Powell, welcome to the show.
Hello. Can I just say I love being referred to as a business baddie. Thank you.
You are quite welcome. Calendly is happy to oblige. How are you today?
I'm good. I am feeling excited. It's almost the weekend. I have some travel plans and I'm ready to lock in.
I love that. And we'll actually talk about, I think, those travel plans toward the end of the episode. So stay tuned, everyone. I do have so many questions for you, but we do kick things off a little bit differently in how I work. So we're actually going to jump right into a section that we are calling Picking Favorites. So we want to get to know you a little bit more before we get to know how you work. So I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions, and without overthinking, you'll go with your gut reaction. How does that sound?
Perfect. Let's do it.
Amazing. Okay, cool. So we actually saw that you started your own cupcake business when you were just 18. What was your favorite flavor of cupcake that you made?
So I used to make this and it's still my favorite flavor. It's confetti cake or funfetti cake, but I like to call it gay cake. Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride.
It's so cute.
I love that. I mean, entrepreneurial from the jump.
Yeah.
And we mentioned that you're based in Atlanta, Georgia. So do you have a favorite place? It could be a park, a museum, a restaurant, really anything. Like, where's your go-to?
I'm going to give the unconventional answer because I don't really consider myself a tourist of my own city, but I think my house is my favorite place to be because it's like, you know, my comfort, my space where I can wind down and be who I am. I love my home.
As a woman on the go, you have to love your house when you are there to be able to rest. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
So a little birdie told us, and I'm going to bring something on for those watching. You are a fan of an art class. So besides social media, what's your favorite art medium?
Definitely oil painting. This is something I got into, I want to say about a year and a half ago. I've done like water painting or watercolor, and I've done other types of arts, but oil painting, there's something about the thickness of the paint that is very satisfying to me, and the colors are really rich on a palette, so I love it. Oil painting is my jam. Shout out to my instructor.
We love that. I actually took a watercolor class, and so I'm a fan of watercolor. I'm not quite there on the oil side yet.
Yeah, oil's tricky.
I remember, it was like a couple years ago now. So you made your own nail art on Canva, and we actually have a little sneak peek here from a reel you posted. So again, you did a whole tutorial on this. And so like, what's the favorite nail art you've ever had? Is it these ones?
No, I always say that like every set that I do is my favorite. I feel like since I've been working with my nail tech for about 3 years, I literally call him a member of my team because he's so like instrumental in me building my personal brand because my nails are such a huge part of it. But every set that he does, I'm like, this is my favorite. And he's always like, you always say that. So they're all my favorite. I love them all, especially this one.
Oh, I love it. How long are you in the salon for?
Usually 2 to 2.5 hours, no more than that. And then I'm in and then I'm out.
Now, watch out, Cynthia Revo. Jayde's coming for you.
Yes.
Well, I love this. Well, thank you for kind of humoring us for this segment. But now we want to kind of talk shop a bit. Like now that we know that we're all coming to you for nail designs, I want to talk about work. So folks come to you for maybe some projects or clients. So how about we dive in and talk some shop?
Let's do it. I love it.
Well, let's start off first. So you're a creatorpreneur, you're a social media strategist. Like, how did you get into this line of work?
Yeah, I feel like I'm one of those people where I actually like started in the career field and like just haven't left. So when I was in college, I actually went to school for entrepreneurship. And I failed both finance and accounting twice. So my counselor was eventually like, hey, you got to cut this out. No more business. And I was like, okay, well, fine. And then I decided to switch my major to Spanish, which is very random. However, at the time, I was still taking like marketing classes because I had a marketing minor. Got my first social media internship at an agency and then literally never left the social media industry since. So I've been working in marketing and advertising for 13 years. And once I realized social media like was the area of expertise within marketing that I really loved and was fond of, I just been sticking with it since. And I haven't done any other forms of marketing really that aren't related to social. So I'm still
Amazing. You are still here. Well, and let's talk about like the jump, right? Like creatorpreneur, you have your own business. Like what was the like inspiration or impetus to actually get you to make that jump to working for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think like many professionals, I did the whole corporate thing. So I was working in corporate for about 5-6 years and had like about 5-6 jobs during that time. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a pattern of me job hopping. But I think, while I am very grateful for the experiences that I had in corporate in terms of what I learned and the skill set that I acquired, the culture of corporate America just honestly was not for me. I didn't really enjoy the jobs that I had. And I think eventually I was just like, you know what, Jayde, I think there's a realization that you're missing here. And it's the fact that you just don't like working for people. So eventually I was like, oh, maybe I should really just try to be an entrepreneur myself. And I think that was always going to be my path. I just wasn't sure when. So it just came a lot sooner than I thought it would. I honestly thought I was going to be an entrepreneur like in my 50s after I was like the CEO of several corporations. Like that was and then I was like, oh, well, we're doing it now.
Yeah, I love that. And like, talk to us about like M-Co. Does that have any significant meaning for you?
Yeah, well, I want to say that I had the M-Co before ChatGPT became a thing and was using M-dashes regularly. So please stop the M- slander because that's the name of my LLC.
Yes.
But honestly, I just named it that because I always think about my foundation as a writer. That is the type of creative I am, and it has informed a lot of my work in social. And the M- was always my favorite punctuation because I never really learned how to use the Oxford comma. I still don't know how to use it correctly.
No, I know how to use it, and like, don't blame me in the comments, but I'm not an Oxford comma user. I know I'm hurting one of our content strategists' hearts right now, so I'm kind of with you. And yes, let's remove the M- slander. I want to ask you kind of a twist on a question, right? Sometimes comedians get asked about the first time they realized they were funny. Do you remember the first time you thought you could be a great creator? Like, was there a first moment of validation for you?
I mean, I think it's interesting because how we see the word creator now has changed like so much, especially with the rise of social media. But I think I've always considered myself a creator, even when I was like, designing my MySpace pages and on the back end coding different backgrounds for my account. But I think now how we know it was really when I was working as the head of social at this beverage startup that I used to work for. And I was hiring creators for a lot of our like launch campaigns and our brand campaigns. And to be very honest, because I was the one kind of like contracting them and like executing on their campaigns with them. And I remember I was like seeing the money that they were making and I was like, oh, I can do this. And I think it really came from the fact that like a lot of social media professionals already have those built-in skill sets that creators have.
I think that's a great answer, and kind of like that aha moment being on the other side to give you kind of a look at what the industry looks like, kind of test it out, think, is this really for me? And then on the like, so you're a creator, right? And like you also have the client work. Like, what is it like to balance those? And like, what's like the push and pull between them, if any?
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like if anything, there is more overlap. I think what I'm realizing is that my clients have very specific needs. And sometimes they do need that creator part of my brain, or sometimes they need the more strategic Jayde, or sometimes they need someone who's a little bit of both. And I honestly find that in more times than none, I'm doing the overlap of the work where I'm coming in and laying down the foundation for a strategy and how we're going to do something or execute on a social campaign. And then I'm like, here are all the ideas. And then also sometimes I create the ideas, whether that's me writing the copy or designing the content or creating the videos. So I think it's nice for them to have someone on the team that can like handle different sides of the social media work.
Well, and you're still doing the practice too. So like you said, you're like algorithms change, platforms change. So as a creator, you have to be on top of those for your content. But then as the client side, you can consult with them and stay up to date. So I think it's honestly a really good mix and probably a smart combo to have.
Yeah, exactly. And I think because social just like moves so fast, I think having someone that can be agile in that way, because like sometimes even when you're working on a strategy, like you only need to focus on strategy for maybe like the first like month or two of a campaign. And then it's all about executing. So then you can prove that the strategy actually works and then you pivot on the strategy. So it's like
there's a cycle. I love that. Well, speaking of all of those hats, it probably gets a little exhausting. So we actually have a brand new segment that we're going to throw you in on called Relax Your Shoulders.
Okay.
Yes. So this is Relax Your Shoulders because honestly, like as we all know, we spend so much time staring at screens, hunching over our screens and laptops, like kind of the shrimp at the computer, which I can very much relate to often. We're processing reports, we're refreshing our analytics, and honestly, our bodies are just out there quietly suffering. So are your shoulders up by your ears right now? And Jayde, I'm not talking to you, anyone else, or I'm not only talking to you, I'm talking to anyone else tuning in, because I know mine often are. So what I want to do is let's all literally release them right now. Everyone watching, doing with us, a big sigh in. Okay, how did that feel, Jayde?
Excellent, thank you.
Amazing, of course. Hopefully all of you watching. But Jayde, as someone who does live online truly for a living and wearing all of these sets, I wonder, like, how do you actually go about recharging? What does relaxing your shoulders look like for you?
You know, I was actually talking to my therapist about this, and it's really just doing nothing. Like, I think for me, a good wind down is like sitting on my couch and not moving for 6 hours straight. And maybe I'm watching TV, eating a snack, but as long as I have that time to be still, that is like literally all I need.
I love that. And you're a big like wellness advocate, like in the space. Like I think you actually did an event in Atlanta around wellness for creatives and marketers. We
did a mental health event in partnership with Influential and Creators for Mental Health, which is run by Shira Lazar. And I think it was a really great conversation on the panel to have, just because I think, you know, this work can be very brutal, especially when you're doing it as a solo. And I think having a community around you where you can say, you know, like, hey, I'm feeling this way, or I'm not doing well mentally is so important. And being able to and finding solutions for it too. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for all of that important work that you're doing. And thank you for relaxing your shoulders with us today.
Love that.
So because we've got a lot of people wearing many hats like you who are tuning in, I'm sure that they're curious to hear about kind of your day-to-day workflow, some of the challenges you've overcome, like things you've learned a lot along the way. So first I want to know, like you've said that your purpose is actually doing work that brings me joy. I love that personally. Like how do you ensure that you're living out that purpose? And what are some of the kind of key things that keep you anchored in that purpose?
I really feel like it comes down to a lot of my decision making. I think when I get opportunities, when it comes to my work, my question is like, of course, like how much money is this going to make me? Because I'm a business owner after all. However, I think the second question is like, is this something I will actually enjoy doing? Will it bring me joy? And not just even in the short term, like long term, 6 months from now, am I going to regret making this decision? And that's something that kind of helps motivate me to make sure I'm not saying yes to everything. So I say no a lot, especially this year. I walked into this year with a brand growth strategy where I'm determined to make $500,000 this year in revenue. We'll see. Wish me luck, y'all. And I told my team, I was like, we need to scale back this year. So I'm saying no to a lot of opportunities and being more intentional about the ones that I know will really pour into me mentally and emotionally.
I love that. Well, it just sets you so much more focused. And speaking of wellness, just a few ago, like it helps you really focus in on putting all of your energy in things that will get you there. Shonda Rhimes had the year of yes. You're having your year of no, except for what matters.
Exactly.
I love that. And I know on the creator side, again, one of the biggest pain points for them is not getting paid in a timely manner. How have you managed that? Like, do you have any tips or tricks for any aspiring creators that might be listening to this?
Yeah. So one, I feel like I love this fact that I'm in this stage of my creator journey where I have a team to, crack down if I need them to. But I will also say, as a practice, I love a late payment fee, or a deposit up front. The late fees I find are very helpful because they incentivize my partners to pay me on time because they don't want to pay more money if they don't need to, obviously. And then also with the down deposits or the upfront deposits, I find that's helpful just as a good faith gesture to say, hey, we're in this partnership, we're entering it together. We're going to pay you a portion up front to get the work started. And I feel like that does help cover any of the work that I have to do in the beginning of the job. So I find that that's really helpful. And both of those things especially really incentivize my partners to pay me on time. And I will say in the beginning of my creator journey, I was having a lot of those issues and I haven't had many since. And I love that for me. I
love that for you too. I was actually just going to ask, is that like learning the hard way or the easy way? Yeah. So hopefully those listening in can take a couple tips and learn it the easier way. But Thank you for stumbling along that like we all do for some lessons.
Definitely.
What advice would you give like any aspiring creators when it really comes to landing those brand partnerships? Like, does anything stick out for you? Has anything worked better for you? Have brands told you this really worked for them and why they reached out to you? Like, what does that look like?
I'd say don't be afraid to be proactive. I feel like those that follow me and especially subscribe to my newsletter know that I'm constantly like, shoot your shot. I'm a big believer in that. I think even at this stage in my creator journey, I'm getting a lot of inbound opportunities, which is wonderful, but that doesn't mean I've stopped reaching out to brands. I'm like constantly reaching out to brands that I want to work with, especially when I have like different ideas, different campaigns. But it's something that I make a priority because sometimes brands, as visible as you may be, just probably won't know that you exist or how they may even be interested in working with you. And I found that me pitching, just like simple ideas that I've had, they'll be like, oh, I didn't even consider that. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here. So I definitely think that's part of it. And then also just come prepared with a story that you want to tell. Like, don't just tell them and be like, hey, I want to partner. Like that does nothing for them. So come with some concepts or some ideas or some moments you feel like you can activate with the brand.
Who, if you were willing to say, who would be your like dream brand to partner with? Anyone out there?
I have said this so many times, I'm going to keep saying it until I manifest it, is Fenty Beauty.
Yes.
My dream partnership. I love Miss Robin Rihanna Fenty Down. And they're a brand that I've actually pitched before. I actually recently pitched them for a can, and I actually got a response. So you will hear something back if you like send a good pitch. And they're gonna talk to me later in the year. So stay tuned.
Well, I'm sure Riri, if you're watching this, reach out to our girl Jayde, because she is more than ready to get those brand deals.
Yeah. That's gonna come.
Truly, yes. I want to know, like, if you could go back in time, is there any advice that you would give yourself when you were starting?
I think I probably would have told myself to feel more comfortable like taking the risk. I feel like going out and doing entrepreneurship in itself is already a risk, but I think at the beginning, and I wouldn't even say take risks. I would say don't be afraid to do things without them being perfect. That is it. Like, don't be afraid to be of the imperfection, because I think when I was going into my entrepreneurship journey, I would often feel like I had to constantly prepare like a 100-page deck or have like the most pristine branded one pager. And I find that like, that's not what it really takes. Like, those things are helpful, but oftentimes it's just literally sending like some key bullet points in an email and getting your point across effectively. Things don't always have to be perfect when you're doing outreach to new clients or brand partners. You just gotta make sure you're conveying the message, make it valuable to them, and go. And I think what that has done for me, that kind of mentality, has allowed me to feel more comfortable and confident in my decision making, actually, because it's like the more I just do, the better I'm at just like being more of a risk taker and feeling more comfortable going after what I want.
Well, as a recovering perfectionist, I can completely relate to this. And I do think like at some point that perfectionism served us, right? Like, it taught us to really pay attention to the detail. And now we can kind of lay back a little bit because we're like, okay, it doesn't need to be that perfect.
Yeah.
So I very much relate to that.
Absolutely. And I get it. It's like, especially when you're like a trained marketer and your brain is like constantly like decks, one pagers. It's like really hard to get out of that.
Yeah. And my background was in PR, actually. And so like, basically, if you misspelled a name at all, like that was potentially your job, as wild as that sounds. So I very much relate to that.
Sorry, I have to say, like, this kind of actually reminds me very early on when I was working in advertising. I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
My managers chewed me out because I spelled ADD instead of AD. And she told me how like unprofessional that was. And like those types of like languages that we were getting in our early like stages of our careers, that has like worked my brain. So now I'm like embracing the imperfections.
Right. A little bit of trauma, work trauma along the way, right?
Yes. Do it every time.
Truly. Well, I wonder, like, how do you juggle it, like specifically like your projects and work streams, to keep yourself sane, your team aligned, and your clients happy? Like, are there any like, how do you manage that? Like, talk us through.
Yeah, I feel like, so it's kind of like twofold. One, I rely on my team very heavily. I'm so grateful to be in a space in my business where I have a team supporting me, but then it's also just like my systems and my processes. So I invest a lot of money in software solutions that help me do my job. One of my favorites is Calendly, and I'm not being paid to say that, y'all. Like, obviously I'm here, I love Calendly, but I genuinely love Calendly. I've been using it for years. Canva is one of my favorites, but especially Notion. Notion, I feel like, is like my project management like go-to solution. I have so many boards where I manage all my client work and then all my brand partnerships, and it just helps me keep things organized, especially like contracts, files, briefs on both sides, because I'm getting like creative briefs from the ad agencies that I work with, and then creative briefs from my brand partners. So it helps me manage things and lets me kind of follow along in the journey of like when my deliverables are due, which is very helpful for me.
I love that. Well, I do remember like one of the first times I ever reached out to you to like get a virtual, I think we met on marketing Twitter.
Yes.
You sent me your Calendly link. So she is the line book. She's really been a fan, and I've always remembered that.
I even send them to my friends, and they always laugh at me because I have like a friends only link when we want to hang out and like go to dinner, grab coffee, and I'll be like, here's my Calendly. They'd be like, they'd be like, I can't believe you sent me a Calendly link. I'm like, it's efficient.
That's literally, yes. I agree. As a type A person, yes, very much. All right, so the last question of this section is in the spirit of love, marry, divorce, or some other inappropriate versions, not safe for work, but it's called do, delegate, or delete. So I'm going to throw 3 business tasks at you, and you're going to tell me what you would do what you would delegate, and what you would delete. So one for each, and you can only pick one for each. How does that sound?
That sounds good to me. Let's do it.
All right. So I'm taking you onto the creator side. One would be scripting, one would be filming, and one would be editing.
Okay. So I'm going to say you can delegate the editing for sure. I feel like there's so many talented video editors out there. You don't really need to do that yourself.
Yep.
And then I would say do the filming because it needs to come from like your lens, your point of view. You're literally holding the phone. Like, granted, you could always get like a video producer, but I feel like for content creation, it's better if it comes from your POV.
Yeah.
And then it was do delegate and then
delete.
Yes, I would delete the third one because I just feel like, I just feel like it's better to kind of go off cuff. And granted, I'm a hardcore scripter, but if you ever took a script away from me, I could definitely just speak to camera off cuff. It'd probably take longer, but I could do it.
I mean, that just makes it more authentic, like bullet points or whatnot. So I absolutely love that. Well, you heard it here, folks, how Jayde would do delegate or delete. And before we close, we have one more official segment that we are calling No Thank You. So this is something that you get to have a rant of sorts, right? So this is called No Thank You. It's something in your work life that you maybe used to tolerate, but you don't anymore. Or maybe it's just a pet peeve about your industry. Either way, you're basically saying no thank you to it, and you get to go on a rant if you'd like. So take like 30 seconds and let it all out. Are you ready, Jayde, to say no thank you?
Absolutely.
All right, what are we saying no thank you to?
Okay, I'm saying no thank you to pick your brain chats, y'all. I know it's just one of those things that we all like to do. Can I pick your brain? Can I pick your brain? But I really like to remind people that when you are asking me to pick my brain, that you're asking me to consult you for free and you want me to leverage my 13 years of experience in marketing and advertising for a 30-minute call for free. And I just don't think that's fair. So I am saying no to pick your brain coffee chats or however you want to frame them. If you feel like, you want access to the plethora of knowledge that I have, then I fear you're going to have to pay for it.
You're going to have to pay for it.
That's the take.
Does that feel like a good therapy session right there?
Yeah.
Amazing. We love No Thank You. It is cathartic for us as much as it is our audience. Well, and we have one final question that we love to ask all of our guests, Jayde, and it is, if you could have access to anyone's calendar to book a meeting with them, whether they're still living or not, who would you choose? And we actually ask this of all of our new hires when they join as well. So whose calendar are you hoping for?
I mean, I alluded to it earlier, but it would definitely be Robin Rihanna Fenty. Like, I just want to hang out with her. We can talk shop. We can be like, girl, tell me about you running your business. How's it going? How do I make it to 1 million or 1 billion? I feel like she has billions now. But
Really?
I definitely would love to talk with her. She's also Caribbean and a Pisces like me. So I feel like we can bond over our Caribbean heritage and being whimsical creatives.
Again, Riri, when you tune in, make sure you hit Jayde up because we got to make it happen.
I would love that. I'm going to
Me too. All of us Calendly users tuning in, manifest this for Jayde. I also heard a little rumor, Jayde, that you have quite a big event you're planning later this month. So do you want to tell our users about that, or our viewers about that?
Yeah, so I am hosting my Chronically Online Virtual Social Media Summit on June 30th, which is Social Media Day. So if you are a social media professional, and yes, that includes creators and influencers, please come celebrate with us. We are going to be talking about what it actually means to work in the career of social, which if you've worked in it, you know what it's like. So come talk to us about it. And you can use the code Calendly15 for a discount on your ticket.
Amazing. Jayde, you just keep on giving to the people.
It's my job, my duty. Happy to do
Amazing. I am so excited for this event. I think it'll be really great. So kudos to you. I'm sure you'll break all the legs. And when it comes to one last thing that we're doing, I do have to mention this because we're super excited. So Jayde, can I spill the beans?
Yes, please.
All right. So not only is Jayde here planning her own summit, but she's also headed to Cannes Lion Festival of Creativity in France next week as a Calendly partner. And she's going to be capturing content and sharing what she's seen on the ground and how she's juggling the work on site at Cannes, and trying to, finalize and plan a summit for the following week. So be sure to follow her on the Briefcase app, aka LinkedIn, to stay in the know. I'm so excited for that, Jayde.
Me too. We're gonna have such a good time.
Yes. Well, and you came here to Yap, Jayde, and Yap we did. Thank you so much for being here. I can't believe the time flew. You were absolutely fabulous. I hope you have safe travels, and I can't wait to see what else you have in store for the world.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Thanks for having me.
All right, everyone. A quick reminder that if you haven't yet subscribed, we do have a Substack called Mini Hats that we just launched. And every How I Work episode gets a recap there, plus stories and advice from business owners just like Jayde. So we're dropping it in the link in the comments, or you can scan the QR code on the screen if you're tuning in and watching. And finally, you'll be able to listen to How I Work wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. More to come there soon. To everyone who tuned in, whether you caught the whole thing, jumped in halfway, or are listening after their fact, we definitely appreciate you being here, and we'll catch you next time on How I Work.